Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Australia's first 3D Experience Forum, happening right here at the Adelaide Oval. We do sincerely thank you all for being here. My name is Lee McCluskey and it is my great pleasure and honour to be your MC for today's event. This is also the first event in Adelaide for Dassault Systèmes, known as the 3D Experience Company, which is building Adelaide's, or in Australia's, first virtual shipyard right here in Adelaide. You may have seen it in the news. Today's forum is themed 3D Experience to Power the Future Economy. And today we have a lineup of eminent and influential industry leaders from around the globe who will share with us how the future will look in a globalised world that is increasingly borderless, intercultural and digitally connected. Now we have more than 300 delegates at our forum today, not just from Australia, but also from France, the UK and Singapore, and we welcome you all very warmly. We're also live streaming the forum on the event website, so our audience here today is indeed global and borderless. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to tweet or share your photos of the forum on social media. The hashtag, not surprisingly, #3DEXPerience. Because we're all part of the same community, a dynamic community of technologists and futurists who are changing the world today for a better future. Couple of very quick housekeeping matters. Conveniences are at the door and to my left, and in the highly unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the instructions of the Adelaide Oval staff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that we're here today on the land of the Indigenous Kaurna people. Would you now please welcome Jack Buckskin to lead a traditional Welcome to Country.
All right, how are we all? Yeah, good, Jack. Yeah. This is Vincent here. Really, my name is Vincent. My mum gave me the name Vincent, but then called me Jack. I didn't get enough traction out of it. My whole family knew me as Jack. I didn't find out my name was Vincent until I started school, so I gave it to my son. Hopefully he can get a little bit more traction out of the name. But my Aboriginal name is Ganya Bundu Undu Pina Kudnawitcha. Breaks up into 3 smaller names. Ganya, it's my individual totem, which means the rock. I did ask my mum, why'd you call me the rock? Like, it was quite boring. I've got a nephew who's a snake, one's a wombat, and another one's a crow, and I got the rock. She goes, you look like this guy called Dwayne. I don't see it yet. Why are you laughing? That's not a joke. That was serious. But the second part of my name is Bundu Undu Itpina, which means the father of the dragonfly. My youngest born son, I've got a son after Vincent. His name is Bundu Undu, which is the dragonfly. This is my son Nguku. His name is the barking owl. You want to say your name?
My name's Vincent and I'm the barking owl and I'm the younger boy.
So he's the barking owl. He's the second born in his family. I'm number 3 in my family. We tell you where in introductions, we tell you where we fit in our family, because usually we want to know if we're talking to the boss. My sister, I told you I'm number 3, so my sister will tell you that I'm not the boss, but I'm usually the one with the microphone these days, so I don't say it when I'm on stage. I represent 3 different Aboriginal groups, the Kaurna of the Adelaide Plains here, the Narungga from over on the Yorke Peninsula, which is the little leg holding up the rest of Australia for all those other visitors that have seen South Australia. Yeah, somebody laughed because it's true. And then over a little bit further, a place called Streaky Bay, Sejuna area. My dad's Italian, Egyptian, Scottish as well, so I always acknowledge my father for making me who I am. And Vincent's English and Vietnamese on top of that, so we got a good little mix in our little family. Yes, you are. He said he's a proud Nunga boy. He loves his Aboriginal culture, but he's Vietnamese as well. He's going to argue with me. So we're going to sing a song to acknowledge country. I guess I didn't realise that we're in a room full of futurists. So I'm going to take you back to the past. Being part of one of the oldest the surviving cultures in the world, we've had to relearn my mother tongue language, which was denied from my grandparents and my mother to be able to speak for about 100 years. I'm the most fluent speaker of my language, the only speaker of, and my children now grow up as the first L1 speakers of our language in over 100 years. So we're reconnecting back to our language and culture that has been a part of this land for 60-odd thousand years. So we want to take our opportunity to welcome all of our guests. It's protocols for us to invite and welcome people into our country, not physically, but spiritually as well. So today we're not only going to introduce ourselves, through language and I guess have that opportunity for us to speak language, but we're going to sing a song to our spirit ancestors to gather us here today. This land is a pretty special place to us. We're known as the Tarndaganya Miena, which is the big red kangaroo people. This place, its original name is not Adelaide, it's Tarndanya. Tarndanya is named after the big red kangaroo, and Ganya the rock is the dreaming place of the big red kangaroo. The big red kangaroo originates from this country. So a very special place here, and this place, Tarndanya Wama, Adelaide Oval, is quite special because it's on the banks of the River Torrens, which was our life. It was one of our main life sources, and where our culture developed from an oral historical language to a written language. The German missionaries first documented on the banks of these river torrents here, which we call Karawirapari is the name for this river. So on behalf of my family and my children and the rest of the Kaurna people that I guess walk this country still today, we're going to take the opportunity to welcome yourself. I'd like to reintroduce myself in language and my son, and then we'll go into welcoming you by singing you a song. Nganari bintini chika kanyo pondo wet pina Konno wet bakani ngai tangi wota gana naranga werango mio. Ngai tutaka tina bukiana ku kumparyata ngayato apindi natanga lotanda nyanga tikandi wa nga waragani yama. Mara wachanga ngacho bukiana borkana kumgana mina yalara nga wangandi mani na bodni ngadu ko yata na mani ngadu tampadi ngadu gani yata ngatikandi. Mara wachanga ngacho tukubar kum ngacho kunga kuma. So on behalf of all of my family, welcome to this place, Tarndaganya. And this song that we sing is about calling our spiritual ancestors to come and join us. Now, Vincent stole my other clapstick, so he made me use his stick that he found at the front. So we'll see how we go with this. Welcome the country.
Wasn't that a glorious welcome to country? So thank you to Jack and Vincent, who no doubt stole the show. I'd like now to welcome to the stage Dassault Systèmes Managing Director, Asia Pacific South, Mr. Masaki Konno.
Thank you for the amazing welcome. My name is Masaki, It means to live truthfully in Japanese. Socks is my Canadian nickname. And although I have a picture on the billboard, I'm not going to sing or entertain anybody, except I have the pleasure of opening our first ever 3D Experience Forum here in Adelaide, Australia, and I'm excited to do that. I usually ad-lib and walk around the stage, but I've been asked to present a few different things, so I'm going to kind of read off of this and try to ad-lib along the way. But 2 years ago, when I first took this position of looking after Australia, I was greeted with an assortment of news, and I think many of you are aware of this, and I don't need to harp on this, but thankfully, a few of the key members of my management team said, you know what, there's an incredible potential in this country called Australia, and we need to reinvest and relook at our business here. My Australian friend said that, you know, Australia is a lot like my home country of Canada, except the food is better, the wine is better, the weather's better, and everything's better. And I have to say that it's true. I hate to admit it, everything is mostly better, except Vegemite I can do without. But it's been an amazing experience, and I think around the same time, there was something going on in the world. People called it manufacturing 4.0, IoT, artificial intelligence, autonomous this, smart cities, smart cars, smart everything. And there was a wave of innovation and digitization programs around the world that we saw. And they were going on at the same time, and something was happening. And my boss, Sylvain, will talk about that a bit later on today. But digitization was taken very seriously in industries that we never thought of before. So we fast forward 2 years. Here we are in Adelaide. And in the last 2 years, we've seen Australian companies in programs that are leading the world, not only in renewable energy. We've heard about what South Australia is doing, but in mining, in architecture, construction, in shipbuilding, industries which maybe 2 years ago, I saw a prominent speaker talk about the heartbeat of every industry. And every industry has a heartbeat. Every 100 years, different industries move at different heartbeats. The transportation mobility industry has 10 heartbeats a year, and that's a transformation, innovation heartbeat. He had a big chart, and he had mining, architecture, engineering, and shipbuilding at the lowest spectrum. And I'm sitting here with my management team listening to this going, wow, we just decided to invest and focus on these industries that have the slowest heartbeat of any industry. And we kind of had this moment saying, okay, this is going to be challenging, but let's see what can happen. I'm proud to say, in the last year and a half, and I don't know what has happened, I'm hoping that we had something to do with it, but we've been a part of initiatives in Australia that are leading and the world by far in architecture and engineering, in mining, and in shipbuilding. We just have an agreement that I think many of you have heard about around the digital shipyard. Reid will talk about it a bit later on. And it's really about reinvesting into the SMEs and having them be capable of being a part of all the investments that are going around South Australia around the shipbuilding and the submarines. And we're excited because we believe that we can help change the economy. We're excited that we can help change the SMEs. Our team is passionate because we believe that the students coming out of all the amazing universities in Australia will have a future here in Adelaide, in this beautiful city of Adelaide, and we're motivated to see these programs very successful. And that's why we picked Adelaide as being, it just seemed like it was the perfect fit. We have the most, I would say, innovative government that we've ever worked with, I've ever worked with personally. And this is why we're here at the Oval, and not just because of the billboard and the other great facilities and the wine and the food. At the center of this, this will be also discussed, is the workforce and the people are central to all these different industries, and how do we train the workforce? How do we change and adopt technologies and digitization in the workforce? So, why Dassault? Why do the top companies in the world rely on Dassault for their innovation and digitization programs? Dassault, we're one of the top 10 enterprise software companies in the world. We're a little bit over $3 billion, not very well known sometimes, especially in Australia, but we're quite large and significant. And we're based in France, in Vélizy, close to Paris. And we have 15,000 passionate employees. That's really part of our DNA. We are considered amongst one of the most innovative and sustainable, and you hear me say innovative and sustainable companies in the world by Forbes and other major media. Now I'm going to read off some of this, so in case I don't forget. So many of you may know us for our relationship with Boeing and Airbus, where we introduce solutions around R&D and design, simulation, via CAD, CAE, around digital manufacturing. Others may know us in the automobile industry and our PLM solutions around Toyota and Honda. They say that 90% of the passenger jets in the world are designed using Dassault technology. 70% of the passenger cars around the world are using Dassault technology. So we're very well known in these spaces. We also provide PLM for most of the major pharmaceutical companies in the world. So most people don't know that the small molecule biologics and everything that's being developed these days by the Pfizers, the GSKs, are driven by Dassault technologies, from the actual ideation, creation, the patent protection, the workflow, the screening. So we're extremely motivated. Our customers are saving lives, coming up with new drugs that are saving lives and changing the way that we live every single day. We also are the selected platform of some of the most, strategic smart city programs in the world, including Singapore, that's considered maybe the most advanced. You hear George talk about that later on today and talk about the different initiatives around Singapore and the smart city and how we worked with the Singapore city. And then our presence in Australia is heavily driven in three sectors. One is obviously the mining software. We are one of the largest mining software companies in the world, and many people don't realize that we're actually at the heart of the mining industry. Mainstream CAD SolidWorks has also been in Australia for about 20 years. And we also actually do a scheduling and optimization system solution that's actually driving the Dubai airport, one of the busiest airports in the world, the Panama Canal, and many of the ports in Australia are actually already using our system. So our presence in Australia has been around a long time. We're just re-announcing that we're here, and we're re-announcing that we're here in South Australia. You can say that mostly everything that you touch every single day is somehow affected by Dassault. Our strengths are our passionate engineers and scientists who understand the problems our customers face, plus our ability to handle complex, unstructured scientific and engineering data for processes using the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So today, we have assembled an incredible agenda of speakers that will talk about new frontiers in space, digital transformation in mining, future of air and sea defense, sustainable cities driven by data, and our biggest goal is really, we hope you find this forum very inspirational. We want to inspire your minds, your thoughts, your dreams. I also recommend, I think you've done some of this, the playground that we've set up, show some of these solutions in reality. If we like to finish off with an if we statement, but if we show the dream is possible, we can inspire people to create it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Konno, and I'm sure we will hear much that is inspirational here this afternoon. Before we move on, we would like to share a message which has been recorded by Sir Angus Houston, the Chair of Defence SA, Advisory Board, and the Special Envoy for South Australia for the 3DEXPERIENCE Forum, and his vision for the future of defence. Now, as you know, Sir Angus Houston is an internationally renowned defence veteran. He was Australia's Chief of the Defence Force for 41 years and was awarded the Knight of the Order of Australia in 2015 for his distinguished service in the Defence Force and his continued commitment to serving the nation and the community. Could I ask you to now turn your attention to the big screens?
Good afternoon. As Chair of the Defence South Australia Advisory Board and South Australia's Special Envoy for International Trade and Investment, I'd like to welcome you to Dassault Systèmes 3DEXPERIENCE Forum. Please accept my apologies for not being with you in person, but this week I will be overseas with a South Australian business mission. However, I could not turn down the chance to be part of this landmark event and wanted to convey a few messages in line with the themes being explored today. Firstly, South Australia is a place that is willing to experiment, do things differently, to test and develop new ideas. Second, in addition to creating thousands of new jobs, Australia's future submarines and warships are also catalysing next-generation manufacturing, digital integration and technological development in South Australia. And finally, partnering with global leaders in digital transformation like Dassault Systèmes makes good sense. We are reaching out to the best in the world to help us navigate this complex and changing terrain for a successful and prosperous future. South Australia is in economic transition, marked by the closure of General Motors Holden. Some of you may have had first-hand experience of this. In South Australia, we have not been idle. We are actively reinventing South Australia's future economy by delivering world firsts in emerging industry opportunities such as renewable energy, health and medical. Developing Australia's first innovation district at Tonsley. Passing the nation's most progressive autonomous vehicle laws and leading the way on future mobility trials. Investing in the high-speed gig city network and the 10 gigabyte Adelaide CBD project to make South Australia one of the most digitally connected jurisdictions in the Southern Hemisphere, and building closer relationships with key regions, including Southeast Asia, India, Europe, and the Middle East, where I will be this week. Many of you are involved in these groundbreaking initiatives, and the work you are doing is so important for South Australia's future. The state's economic transition also coincides with deep and fast global change that is being driven by digital disruption. The fourth industrial revolution has certainly begun. It is characterised by digitally connected technology, smart processes and systems, greater integration with global value chains, constant productivity growth, increased customisation and more flexibility. No sector, including defence, is immune from this disruption. There is no question that Australia's next generation submarines and warships will create thousands of jobs and prosperity. There is also no doubt that a virtual or digital shipyard will be developed to test naval ship designs and shipbuilding processes in advance of actual manufacturing. We must ensure our companies are ready. While some Australian firms have started their journey towards Industry 4.0, we are still dealing with limited awareness and uptake. We must also ensure we foster greater technology and IP development. Our universities are now involved in a range of cross-cutting initiatives, from autonomous systems to artificial intelligence and machine learning, focused first on defence opportunities, but also highly relevant to a range of other sectors. Through initiatives such as the Defence Innovation Partnership, we are building intellectual and scientific cooperation. As a nation, we need to accelerate the transfer of digital knowledge and information exchange between businesses and between government and industry, education and research bodies. Partnerships like the one we have established with Dassault Systèmes to deliver the virtual shipyard training project are critical to bringing all parties together. Working together is helping overcome traditional small business barriers such as small scale, limited knowledge and adoption of technology trends, and a lack of market information pathways to market and investment. Dassault Systèmes are experts in building digital collaboration and networked manufacturing processes and systems. They are working with governments and education providers around the world with strong results across many sectors. Examples include Wichita State University's 3DEXPERIENCE Centre and the Centre of Excellence for Aerospace and Advanced Manufacturing. Dassault Systèmes is a genuine and enthusiastic collaborator, as I'm sure you will hear from them and their many partners today. I welcome the connections and experience they are bringing to South Australia's industrial and business landscape. Today's forum provides an excellent opportunity to develop our collective understanding of technologies that can provide a tangible competitive advantage for our local firms, residents and government. We must work together to build upon the momentum created through defence investment to ensure our industries are modern and competitive and ready to capitalise on the job and supply chain opportunities set to arise in the coming decade and beyond. That will go a long way to ensuring South Australia is truly an advanced new economy. Thank you and all the very best for the remainder of the afternoon. I'm sure it will be very stimulating.
Thank you, Sir Angus. We'd like now to welcome the Executive Director of Industry, Innovation, Science and Small Business with the Department of State Development and the Government of South Australia, Mr. Adam Reid, to say a few words. Please make him welcome.
Thank you, and I'd like to start by acknowledging members of Dassault Systèmes Executive Committee, Sylvain Laurent and Philippe Forestier, international guests and representatives of South Australia's business community. I begin by acknowledging that the land we meet on today is the traditional lands of the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship to their country. It's an absolute pleasure to join Dassault Systèmes today for their first 3DEXPERIENCE forum in Australia. It is exciting that Dassault chose Adelaide to host the forum, their first forum in Australia, but it also makes sense. South Australia is now well and truly on the global stage, and we're there as a result of our leadership, but also through partnerships with global innovators like Dassault Systèmes. All over the world, industry is pushing technological boundaries and demonstrating the benefits of digitalisation. In South Australia, our capacity to take advantage of these technologies and the rapid changes is crucial to developing a strong and modern economy. Less than a year ago, we first welcomed Sylvain and his team to Adelaide to explore the opportunities for a virtual shipyard program here in South Australia. Today, Dassault is progressing new partnerships and collaboration opportunities across many industry sectors in South Australia, and no doubt we'll hear more about those later today. Late last year, the South Australian Government formally partnered with Dassault Systèmes and the Advanced Manufacturing Growth Centre, the Australian Government initiative, to deliver an innovative industrial program to build digital capabilities and prepare South Australian firms for a virtual shipyard environment over the coming years. Dassault's global team is helping our companies advance their digital readiness and improve their business processes and industrial production systems. It's also helping our universities and vocational training institutes to prepare a future-ready workforce. Just last week, Dassault hosted participants in the virtual shipyard program in France to experience how similar French companies are transforming their business models through collaboration and the adoption of digital technologies. Now, I understand the weather wasn't fantastic and they've just made it back through the snow, back into Adelaide and some warmer weather. So I'm pleased that they're back on firm ground here. Now, Dassault was an obvious partner for the South Australian Government when we're looking to digitise our industrial base here, and particularly around the virtual shipyard and in the defence sector. It's a global organisation at the forefront of digital transformation across industry sectors, and it's operating in many countries across the world. As a state, we're seizing every opportunity to be creative, innovative and lead. This can be seen in renewable energy, in space, in food production and defence, to name a few. Today, through the South Australian Government's investment in digital infrastructure like Gig City, in early stage commercialisation investments, in venture capital investments, and through partnerships such as with Dassault and others, South Australia is truly becoming a major player in the global digital economy. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want to thank Dassault Systèmes for its commitment to South Australia. Today's event is a great opportunity to hear from thought leaders across many industries relevant to the future of our economy, South Australian economy and the Australian economy. I look forward to the proceedings and I hope you all enjoy the afternoon. Thank you.